But hey, I think we are ready to go.
Yeah.
Let's see if people are still joining. But we don't want to waste your time. We don't want to run late and so on. So welcome everyone. My name is Jussi. I'm not the specialist on this, but I have with me here Atlas.
Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this webinar. I'm Atlas, and I work for City of Helsinki, and I'm organizing this webinar. And what is this about? We will have a look how the climate change is shaping tourism, and how does this climate change affect to your destinations and your businesses, and how can you act and adapt to those changes. And this is organized as a part of Climate Neutral Destinations project, which is funded by Baltic Sea Region program, Interreg Baltic Sea Region program. And yes, also Annika is on the line and waving. She is our lead partner from Tampere, and Annika will tell about the project later this webinar. Yeah.
And hey, there are a great line of speakers. And then we have a great participants. You are now 87, I think. So we hope that we could also interact with you through the platform that I just posted the link again to the chat there. So please log in also there. And few like the house rules there. First of all, there's a top navigation. We are now on the pre-task or page, I think. But on the top navigation there up, you can find the actual event page. So please go to the event space or page. And we will guide you through the whole program through that. You can also follow the program on that page. If you want to use your native language instead of English, you can change the language settings there on the top right corner. There's like the globe, and by pressing it, you can also then see everything that you are writing in your own language, and everyone else can then follow it in English or another way around. And that also, if you are joining us by mobile, there's a kind of the hamburger mark that you can navigate now there in between pages. What else?
I think we can
I
start.
think we are ready to go. Yes, and I have a great honor to introduce our first speaker. I will not introduce you a lot, Nicola. You can do it by yourself. But first we have Nicoletta Anka Mattei, and when Nicoletta is giving her presentation, you can ask there on a platform on that event page also questions where we might come back if we have time. Or then after the event, we will have the a little bit free time to discuss those. And our speakers have also promised that they will answer to you by writing there afterwards if we are not touching all those comments throughout this. But hey, Nicoletta, please.
Hello, everyone. I'm having trouble hearing you a bit just when I started sharing my slide.
Okay.
Can you see?
We can hear you.
You can hear me, but can you see my?
Yes.
Also as well.
Yes, we can. You are good to go.
I think now it's working.
You are good to go.
Yes, it is a pleasure to contribute to this webinar. Today, I will present our work on the impact of climate change on the European regional tourism demand. work that was put together and published in 2023, and was prepared together with colleagues that I have from the Joint Research Center of the European Commission. Tourism is a major economic sector for the European Union, as you already know, and it is also highly sensitive to climate. So understanding how future warming may reshape the demand geographically and seasonally, and also across different types of destination, is essentially what is needed for anticipating the risk and maybe planning adaptation strategies. So I will start briefly by setting the context of our study and present methodology and key results. The study and the results that I'm about to present are part of what we call PESETA program. It is a flagship project that's running for more than 2 decades, which assesses the economic impacts of climate change across various sectors in Europe. The aim is to provide quantitative, long-term, and consistent evidence to support the EU climate policies. So we analyze not only risks, but also the socioeconomic consequences and potential adaptation measures. Our work feed directly into the EU climate policy, including the climate adaptation strategy, the cost of non-action prepared under the European Green Deal, and we had also guidance for the regional cohesion policy investment. In short, it's also about turning science into actionable strategies for European climate resilience. Here you can see briefly a range of climate impact areas that are assessed in PESETA, from agriculture to forest, water resources, energy, transport, labor, productivity, and so on. This also drives risks such as floods, wildfires, storms, declining air quality. And importantly, it reshapes tourism alongside these other pressures. As mentioned, tourism is one of Europe's major economic engines. So over the past decade, it has continued to expand, with Europe attracting more than half of the world's international arrivals. The importance of tourism economy has likewise continued to increase. Therefore, in 2019, the sector accounted for around 10.3% of the European GDP, supporting 27 million jobs and nearly 12% of the total EU employment. If we look at tourism demand, which in our study measure in number of bed nights, here in this graph, you see how it rose from 2.15 million in 2000 and to almost 3.2 billion in 2019. So interestingly, the overall picture of Europe's leading destinations has remained rather stable. So traditional top countries like Spain, Italy, France, so against this background, our study focuses on understanding how climate change will affect this tourism demand, and specifically we aim to isolate the effect of climate from other drivers of this, and how to project how tourism demand might evolve under different global warming scenarios, both across regions and seasons. Here you can briefly see the geographic distribution of the tourism demand, again in the historical part, in the European regions that we consider, measured in, I stress again, the number of bed nights. We consider 269 European regions, and this picture briefly shows or illustrates the overall growth that the demand over the period has presented, and also showing the main hotspots, let's say, that have remained consistently concentrated in the same regions. So to understand how climate affects tourism, we developed a model that isolates the role of climate while controlling for other drivers, and this is what I will show you next. This is how we modeled the historical role of climate on tourism across the 269 European regions over 20 years using monthly data. We applied a fixed effect model. This is a bit technical, but in order to understand the importance of the statistical and the advanced statistical techniques that we used, so we applied a fixed effect model in order to control for disturbances, autocorrelation, and other omitted variables. In our case, tourism demand, as already mentioned, is measured in bed nights, while the economic activity of a region is captured through GDP and prices that are all coming from Eurostat. climate is captured through the Tourism Climate Index, which is a novelty in the study. This index accounts for the climatic preference of tourists and at the destination climate comfort. For example, this index combines temperature, humidity, precipitation, sunshine, and wind in order to give an index that gives you the range of the conditions at the destination region. So, for example, 0 is an index equal to 0 means unsafe condition, and an index equal to 100 means ideal comfort. So finally, we account for this in this model also for the tourism type. So the tourism typologies of regions. So if it's if a certain region is dominant in terms of a certain tourism profile, like urban, coastal, rural, or mountain, nature, or mixed, we also try to capture them in our model. So ensure that in this way the differences in climate sensitivity across different destinations is fully captured. Briefly into the results. After estimating the number that you see before, we found a statistically significant relationship between the evolutions of bed night. Let's see here, the evolution of bed nights together with and the climatic preferences of tourists based on the extensive panel data model. The statistical model confirms that all variables that we consider, so all main determinants are significant in explaining tourism, and this you can see based on the 3 stars here that indicates the strength of the significance level. So therefore, a higher comfort level is estimated to have a positive effect on tourism flows. So in other words, for every 1% increase in this tourism climate index or perception of the weather comfort, we see a positive effect on the number of bed nights. At the same time, this TCI has an additional impact based on the type of tourism typology that we are into. So it gives an additional positive effect if we are in a coastal region, and has additional negative effects. You can see it here if we are in a snow mountain, nature, or rural region. So finally, the role of seasonality is also very strong here. You can see how winter, spring, and summer affect the demand. Summer months drive demand upwards, while winter has a negative, clear effect. Other variables that could be included in this model. The estimations of this model in terms of independent variables are explain the evolution of demand in percentage of 64%, let's say. There are other variables that are not included in our study, which could be the cost of tourism, the cost of the transportation and accommodation. But this is just to briefly mention some of the things that you will not see in this model. So after having estimated a consistent and robust role of the climate preferences, we move on to explore the future risk on tourism. So our projections are based on a group of 11 regional climate models under 2 emission scenarios, and we estimate tourism demand at different global warming levels. So we estimate that for the target set in the Paris Agreement, so plus 1.5 degrees and 2 degrees, as well as for 2 higher warming level, 3 and 4 degrees. The table here shows the years when the warming thresholds are reached in the different type of models. So for example, under the high emission scenario, which is this RCP 8.5, which also will be the focus of my results from here onwards, the thresholds to meet the increase in temperature that I showed you this global warming scenario are roughly, so for example, we will meet the 1.5 in 2026, according to an average of all these models, the 2 degrees in 2040, and let's say 2 or 4 degrees will be met towards the end of the century, 2085, more or less. So to generate these projections, we take from the climate models the climate variables that we need and build the tourism climate index. So we take temperature, humidity, precipitation, cloud cover, and wind speed, and use them to calculate monthly and regional values until the end of the century. So now, with these climate projections, we can translate them into future demand, let's see, and let's see how these patterns across European regions in the future. So this figure briefly shows the projected evolution measured in bed nights. So bed nights starting from here until from 2020 until the end of the century. Each of the thin line represents one of the 11 models that we used, and then the darker thick line shows the average, the ensemble average under the high emission scenario 8.5. So here I'm presenting 9 regions. Then we can see 3 northern region, mid-latitude region, and southern region, and see how the trend evolves differently across all of them. So clearly in the northern regions, the demand increases steadily across almost all the entire projection period. The mid-latitudes have shown more of a mixed picture, depending on the region and the warming level. And in the southern region, the trend is generally downwards. So practically from this point forward, I will present the results focusing only on the average of the 11 models, because if not, we will add a lot of complexity. So let's now look on how these changes translate into regional shifts in tourism demand across Europe. So practically here you will see the projected shifts across Europe under different warming levels, 1.5 plus 2 degrees plus 3 degrees per 4 degrees. The potential impact of altered climate conditions for demand suggests a major geographic and seasonal redistribution of flows across Europe. This becomes very pronounced for individual destinations and countries from mid-century onwards. So in particular, Mediterranean and Southern Europe, as you can see, are projected to see a considerable decline in the tourism volumes due to climate change, while northern regions and higher latitude regions are expected to benefit from an expansion. So under the 1.5 plus 1.5 warming scenario, the majority of the European regions would see only minor changes, as you can see here, ranging between -1% plus 1%. The largest decline is projected for Cyprus, while the largest increase is projected for Finnish coastal regions, plus 3%. This overall pattern stays rather similar also for the 2% plus 2 degree warming scenario through the north and south, gradually intensifying. So if we were to look at the 4 degree, which is the scenario that we will most probably meet towards the end of the century, we could see significant shifts in the demand that are projected in Europe. So the Central and Northern Europe becomes increasingly more attractive year-round, while Southern and Mediterranean regions are projected to face notable loss. In a 4 degree scenario, around 80% of the regions are projected to see an increase in demand. So this is more than 215 regions compared to 2019. And among these, 106 regions see an increase that is below 3%. So practically all the regions that you see here in the 4 degree scenarios that are shaded light to dark blue have an increase with respect to present of the demand more than 3%. On the other hand, there are 22 European regions that mainly across Bulgaria, Greece, Cyprus, and the countries that you see mentioned here, that are projected to lose tourist flows compared to 2019. So this highlights already a clear north-south divide with profound implications for tourism economics and also adaptation strategies. So let's now zoom in into the Baltic Sea regions, which is most probably of your interest. Here, all the projections are consistent and overall positive trend in tourism and show a positive trend in tourism demand. And this becomes even stronger with the warming level degree that we consider. So the largest increase is expected in Finland, particularly in the coastal regions that I will not pronounce the name, just not to make any mistakes. So it's more than 11% under the 4 degree scenario in this region of Finland. Other notable winners are also present in Sweden with 11% increase in this region of tourism demand, and Denmark with 9% increase. So looking at regional patterns, we also see that coastal regions benefit a bit more, with values ranging from 7% in Poland to 11% in Finland that we just mentioned. Urban and mixed regions are also projected to see moderate but steady growth, with Warsaw, for example, being at plus 2%, 2.5 more than present in terms of increase in demand, and Upper Norland, which is almost 9% in Sweden. Even rural and nature-oriented areas registered smaller but positive gains. So let's now see how these regional shifts that we saw until now play out across the seasons, because other than the geographical redistribution of tourism, also climate change reshapes the tourism calendar. We will first look now at the full picture of Europe, where we have again our 9 regions, in order to understand how the shift in seasonal patterns may happen. So summers are projected to become less attractive in many regions, while the shoulder season and even winters become more appealing as conditions improve. The seasonal shift are not uniform across the regions. So, for example, northern coastal regions in UK and Sweden could gain more than 5% in demand during summer and early autumn. By contrast, the southern regions like Spain and Cyprus and Italy as well could lose more than 10% in their summer demand compared to 2019, especially in the warmer scenarios. Here you can see how the loss in tourism demand accentuates with the warming scenario. For urban destinations, like in Estonia, that we have here in Estonia and France, the picture is more mixed, depending on the location and the warming scenario, while the snow mountain region, let's say, have only modest increases between 0.2 and 2%. And if we zoom in, this graph into Baltic Sea regions, where the seasonal effects of the climate change are particularly evident. Across the different countries, we see a general increase in demand during late summer and early autumn, as I already mentioned, especially in their high warming scenario, 3 degrees and 4 degrees. So, for example, in Finland and Sweden have strong September gains, while regions in Denmark, as you see here, and parts of Poland and Lithuania also see a significant decrease in late season in autumn. But it's not just the summer that peaks also and that shifts. In several northern regions, winter months also become very attractive, and the season extends beyond the traditional summer period that you see. So altogether, the results confirm that in the Baltic Sea area, tourism demand is moving towards both shoulder and winter seasons, reinforcing the broader trend of longer tourism season in Northern Europe. This is one of my latest slides. I just want to show you a picture and a closer look at the country. So let's look at Finland, which emerges as one of the main drivers and winners of one of the main winners of climate change and tourism demand. So, for example, if we were to look at the 1.5 scenario, Finland already shows clear gains with increases of around 1 to 3% across its regions. Here you see the regions of Finland and how they react to a 1.5 degree scenarios. And here you see how the season, so the months of the year, react in a 1.5 degree scenario for Finland. Early autumn and early summer months, and again in early autumn. So by contrast, by the end of the century, when we are in a 4 degree warming, the gains become much more pronounced. Finland ranks among the top beneficiaries of Europe, together with Sweden and Denmark, and you see here Ireland, Lithuania, with some regions such as Åland, which is projected to see growth of more than 11%, and seasonal peaks also in Finland are projected to reach 20%. For example, in January. This shows that Finland could extend its tourism offer both into winter and the shoulder seasons, becoming more attractive for the year-round tourism. Overall, the message will be that climate change would shift demand northwards, as you saw, and Finland, together with all the other countries here that I presented, stands out as one of the strongest gainers. I have the same photo for Denmark and Sweden here, but I will briefly move to conclusion in order not to present. But you can find all the rest of the Baltic countries in the additional material that I have prepared for you. So to conclude, let me briefly summarize what we did and what we found. So we estimated the historical role of climate on tourism demand using a large monthly data set covering 269 regions across Europe over the last 20 years. Based on this, we projected how demand could change under the 4 global warming levels, plus 1.5, 2, 3, and plus 4 degrees. Our findings show that tourism demand is positively and significantly correlated with climate conditions, coastal destination being most climate sensitive. We also identify a clear north-south divide, with northern regions expected to benefit while southern regions face huge losses. Importantly, seasonality patterns will also shift, with shoulder and even winter months gaining importance. So beyond these results, there are important discussions points for us to consider, which I would say, how prepared are the northern regions to accommodate the growing demand? How can southern destination adapt to manage the potential losses? How can tourism policy investments and adaptation strategies respond to this uneven shift? So these questions go beyond the numbers, and I would say that set the stage for much broader discussions. And I would like to thank you for your attention and give the word to the panel for some questions and answers if there is still time.
Thank you very much, Nicoletta. It was really interesting to see this study, even if I'm not a specialist. I'm not really sure how much I can celebrate as a Finn that the climate is warming so much and we are getting more tourists. But those are the facts that are there. So it's really interesting. It is. What do you think? Do you have any questions for Nicoletta?
I didn't see any questions from audience, but I have one question. Did these findings challenge any earlier assumptions about climate change and tourism? What do you think?
Sorry, could you just repeat the question? My call just interrupted, and now I have. Sorry.
Yeah, did the findings surprise you somehow of this study?
No, because practically since we started working on also the other sectors, we already could anticipate the effects of climate conditions or different type of sectors. So we were already seeing also in our everyday life how small changes in temperature and precipitations and how the summer evolved in the last 10 years, let's say. We were kind of expecting together with my colleagues to see strong impacts. Of course, we were maybe not expecting the 4 degree scenarios to be so strong, but then of course all the rest of the seasonal and geographical redistributions were something that we kind of anticipated. We were very lucky that we managed to build a database which was very extensive in order to be able to focus on the entire European region. And still, there were a lot of other variables that we would have liked to include in the study, like I was mentioning, the cost of transportation, the preference of tourists, also the awareness of tourists to climate change, which is not included. But we were very happy that we managed to isolate the effect of climate to see at least an idea of how a future might look like.
Thank you, Nicoletta. It was really, really interesting to see those facts that your study had. So the next thing, actually, we will move forward. I think that we are getting another angle from Jeremy Smith. Are you ready, Jeremy?
Just about. I'm just getting my slides ready, and I'll be with you. There we go. Can you see my slides?
We can see your slides. And hey, and while before you're starting. I'm just because I'm seeing David Narain, who will also be our speaker. Please check your connections because I can't see your pictures so well. So let's prepare. But hey, Jeremy, stage is yours.
Thank you so much indeed. I've spent most of my working career trying to answer the question, how can we break the barriers to climate action, to sustainable tourism? How can we use our industry, support our industry in playing a role in the enormous challenge that we now face? Nearly 20 years ago, I wrote a travel book to the best in sustainable tourism around the world back in 2007 and 2008. I had an amazing time traveling across the world for almost a year, seeing the best that was happening from here in Dominica to Kerala in southern India to Goludo, a remarkable lodge on the coast of northern Mozambique. These places have stayed with me in my heart ever since, just as all of our favorite experiences in tourism do. They touch us emotionally, which is why I have been incredibly affected by what has happened to them since I visited, by the appalling hurricanes that devastated Dominica, by the 100-year floods across Kerala, and the one that finally really got to me in April 2019, when Cyclone Kenneth washed in off the Indian Ocean, and in the space of 10 minutes, more than a decade's work from Goludo that had won so many awards and supported so many people and so many communities was completely destroyed. I didn't know what to do, but I knew I had to do something. I knew I had to somehow get involved and do more than just writing the articles that I spent most of my life doing. I launched a Twitter account and created a logo of tourism declares a climate emergency. Just a few conversations began, and we started talking with different people about what we could do. In 2020, we launched an initiative, a Squarespace website, a grassroots group of people, of organizations coming together, committing to publish climate action plans and to do what they can to make working on climate action in tourism a strategic priority. A few months later, the National Tourism Organisation for Scotland got in touch with me and said, we don't know what to do, but we do know we have to do something, and we want to do it together. We want to be the first national tourism organisation to declare a climate emergency. More and more organisations came into conversation with the many volunteers and the many organisations who were exploring what we might do. And through that, from an initially unfunded Squarespace website with a bunch of volunteers working during COVID, we developed the Glasgow Declaration for Climate Action in Tourism. Many of you in the audience now are signatories of that, and I thank you all for the early commitment you have made. We're now in a position where I can talk about what has happened since that 2021 launch of the Glasgow Declaration. At the very beginning, we wanted to make it possible for all the different organizations, the destinations, the businesses, the hotels.
Hey, Jeremy, you just muted yourself.
Or someone else.
Or someone else. Interesting.
All good?
Yeah. Now we hear you.
Now we hear you.
I didn't even know I had a mute button. However, of course, now I've lost it. 1 second. Yeah.
Yeah, great. Now you're back.
Okay, all good. Everyone okay? And so the Glasgow Declaration, helping people to try to align and share and understand the challenges and work together on a collaborative role across our industry towards climate action, gave the guidance that every plan, everyone's actions need to measure, to decarbonize, to regenerate, to work together in collaboration, and to ensure the finance and the capacity is there. Beyond that, we didn't give much more guidance because we didn't want to say, here's a checklist of 10 things you must do and then climate is solved. But now we are in a place where more than 850 organizations, destinations across the world, representing the totality of our industry, have made that commitment. And more than 350 have published their first or second or even third climate action plan, bringing an enormous thousands and thousands of pages of ideas and inspiration for how we as an industry address this enormous challenge. Since the publication, the launch of the Glasgow Declaration, I continue to work with UN Tourism and others, the Travel Foundation, And now you can get the summary of what best practice looks like, of what the guidance is, of what the many plans involve by looking at the report, which is the left hand of those two images. But you can also get detailed guidance on how to develop your own climate action plan, built not just because I thought this was a good idea, but because we have read all the climate action plans. We have spent 4 years talking and listening to people to understand what are their challenges and what they are trying to do. And if a 32-page guide isn't the way that you translate into climate action for your destination or your business, then we've supported it with a toolkit. These are all free. These are all downloadable. We will share the links with you. This toolkit walks you through a week-by-week, 6-month process of how you can develop a climate action plan and what you need to focus on week in, week out. It contains hundreds of examples of possible climate actions, how you might track them and audit them and measure them, what benefits they might bring to you, to your destination, to the places where you operate, and examples where they are already happening. It has a toolkit to enable you to prioritize the actions that you have according to criteria such as, do I have the capacity? Do I have the finances? Do I have the internal expertise? Is this something that is going to optimize my tourism where I operate? So you don't just pick some random examples that, because the guy next to you is doing it. You do them because they make sense for your business. And finally, in case you really need it, there is a guide built out of all of the different climate action plans, a template for what you might want to put inside your plan. Not a set of rules, but some ideas to support people moving forward, thinking about how they can deliver their own climate action plan and make climate part of their strategy. But for a lot of people, what we find is that the barrier is right at the beginning. The barrier is measurement. The idea is that we understand what it is that our impacts are and what it is that we can change, and that measurement helps us do this and move forward. But so many people have found it so complicated and get stuck at that very first place. And I have so many conversations with people in that context. And so I want to tell you now that this month, Travelist, who I advise and I work on the advisory board for, will be launching a data hub, the very first version of it, but they're building it with the technology from Google, with auditing from MasterCard and Visa, working with the OTAs, building on the work they've done aligning aviation emissions to support the entire global hotel sector with free, standardized, easy to use measurement tools, benchmarking advice, guidance that will enable everyone from destinations to hotels to get an understanding of that additional set of emissions around accommodation. But the world changes and we need to change and adapt in it. And to be honest, if you want a simple idea of what the emissions look like for your business, use AI. It is very, very good at most of these things. It's what it is built for. And you can go in there and get enough of a guide because you don't need to get right down into the nitty-gritty detail, point this, point that, to understand that the priority is X or that the challenges are Y. You need to move on to climate action. After 5-6 years of work, honestly, I strip it down to this. If you're trying to get involved in climate action and measurement is a barrier, find measurement of what you already have data for. Focus on that you can actually improve, and focus on that is useful for you if you do improve it. If you pay a bill for your electricity or you buy fuel for your vehicles, you are tracking your energy bills and your fuel use. If you serve food, you can weigh the food waste that is going out of your kitchen on a weekly, monthly basis. Your guests arrive one way or another, you can record and get an idea of how they are coming to you and where the emissions from that transport lie. And you can monitor participation in low carbon activities. These can all be done at little or no cost, and all of them can easily enough be changed. Depending on the context and where you operate, you can easily enough support your guests and encourage them to travel by train, give them the guidance on where the station is and how to get connected, whatever it might be. Lots and lots of organizations are doing it. There are many ideas in the climate reports I just showed you. Again, Ask ChatGPT, it'll give you guidance. But this isn't why any of us came into tourism. And this is the question, the challenge I ask myself over and over again. I can give you all the tools. I can give you all the frameworks, all the blueprints. But in the end, it's a bit like this. September began, and I decided I wanted to start running again. I love running. But the thing that stops me running isn't not having an incredibly good watch that tells me exactly what my gait is and what the various counts are. I could buy one and maybe I'd use it a bit, but it wouldn't get me out there running every single day. What gets me out there running every day is two things, love and fear. I love running in the vineyards here in southern France, seeing the Pyrenees, connecting and remembering why it is that I live where I do. And at 52 years old, I'm a little scared of what it means if I don't reduce certain aspects of my weight, if I don't focus on energy, look after my heart. It is fear and love that gets me running, not technical guidance. I was once asked, what's the one thing we can do to involve our team in climate action? And I asked the question, which I've asked many times since, have you ever had a meeting in your business, in your destination, your organization, where the only topic was climate change? And it was about how it makes you feel. Not the end of the day, the AOB, the last 5 minutes, not the stressed out moan over a drink, but sitting down as a team and taking an hour or 2 hours to discuss the response we all have to the greatest challenge facing us and that will face us for the rest of our lives. Because before you go and invest in the tools and the frameworks and so on, you need to find time for that. If you did, and that is where you had a conversation, and you had that conversation sitting in your destinations around the Baltic, would you be talking right now about how the events of this summer, this incredibly hot, challenging summer, has made you feel? I know that being right here in southern France on the Mediterranean, I spent most of the last month obsessively following the weather. That's a screen grab I took 1 month ago. You can see the 9th of August in there. I didn't take it ready for this meeting. I took it ready to share to my family and my friends who were coming to visit. And these are the apps that I spent my time in August, what used to be peak tourism for the Mediterranean. My house is the little heart down there in the bottom. I sat watching where the wildfires were. My house is the little blue dot up at the top. The Rebolt fire in the Aude, the department that I live in, got the record this year for being the largest wildfire in Europe, the largest wildfire in France, in living memory. 17,000 hectares were destroyed. The wind took it away from my house. I was never at risk, but I could see the smoke from my road. All the volunteer firemen in our village spent days, and it took 25 days to put it out. They're fighting to get things better. A week later, my friend in Madrid from UN Tourism, who I work with all the time on climate action, had to evacuate, taking only her underwear, her phone, her laptop, and her passport, because the fire came to 500 meters from her house. And a week later, just as my niece had finished her school and was waiting for her exam results so she could go to Greece, to Zakynthos, to spend 3 weeks volunteering on a turtle conservation sanctuary, this huge wildfire broke out across Zakynthos. And so I spent my August taking screen grabs of wildfires in the places that we go on holiday. And wondering why the guidance that I give people on climate action isn't reduce food waste, but do you have an escape plan? How can you support your local community? And how would you support your staff if they just watch the place that they love and work in face a wildfire or a flood. And I know I'm here to break barriers, and I promise you that is where we are going to end. But if we're going to break the barrier, we need to actually acknowledge what the barrier is. None of us came into tourism to confront the climate emergency. But it's the same feeling that everyone is feeling right now. I mean, most people wake up pretty stressed. The news is not a barrel of laughs at the moment. People are stressed by what the reality of this is. There are no winners from a 4-degree climate, raise in temperature. Because it's not just a raise in temperature, it's one of many effects that interact with each other and will see society fall apart. I don't really want to think about that. And it stresses me out. And I find myself stopping thinking about climate as a technical solution and thinking about it as a psychological challenge for living today. And if you do one thing, watch this TED Talk, 2 million views, remarkable woman, Dr. Renée Lertzman, who's been an existential psychologist, someone working on the emotional impact of climate for 20 to 30 years. She talks about all the stressful stuff, all the hard things, how we need to face it. But then she does give hope. And I want their focus there. Because when she talks about it, what she says is that we need to stop yelling, stop telling people about the challenge, stop trying to sell them new ideas, and instead walk with them, share the challenge, guide each other into the better place that we need to work towards. In this world that is increasingly atomized and increasingly angry with one another, find a way to offer welcome. Do what we do best as tourism providers and offer rest. This may not seem like much compared to the challenges of measurement, but we live in a world where 2/3 of people working right now are burnt out, who just exhausted by a work that builds a machine that makes us more and more productive all the time, but hasn't got time for us to slow down. And if we did do this, if we shifted to slow down, not just in working weeks, but in many ways, we find a world that is more inclusive and a world that doesn't prioritize work, but that prioritizes the time of value that comes outside of work. And maybe we need to think differently. Rather than responding to crisis and urgency with crisis and urgency, respond to it with a pause. I'm sure that most of you listening today have heard in recent years about the increasing amounts of work that is being done to show the benefits of doing what so many of us in tourism do for the day job, connecting people to nature. You only have to look at the language of Visit Finland, of the national parks of Finland, and how it connects us being in nature and our well-being, our reduction in stress, our opportunity to reconnect. But the very last thing I want to say, which is very new, which I've never said before, so bear with me, and this is my exploration now, and I hope you will come with me on it, is that tourism is a fiction. We make up ways of experiencing the world. We put pieces together and show people examples of what it might look like. We help people imagine other ways to live, the past, the present, the future. Right now, we need nothing more than help imagining a world different to the one we are all increasingly scared of, believing it is possible. And while we can read about that and listen to podcasts and see it on the news, tourism uniquely brings us inside of it and helps us experience other ways of living. And when we experience, and when we feel, and when we taste, and when we meet, it becomes real. And we get to believe that it's possible because it's happening. It may not make it to the news, but it's there. And that gives us support. Of course, our money gives support to those who are already doing it. And that may be where tourism needs to be, focusing its climate action on sharing the stories of hotels that are working as living labs, enabling guests to come and to experience new ways of being in the world and showing how it is possible to not create chaos and to operate differently from the way you use energy to the way you run your finances. Travel through cities, up on the roofs, and see how we can turn our roofs into remarkable botanical roof gardens.
I projekt och några smart tourism-grejer. Det var ganska kedligt.
So, not sure what that is. I've got 2 slides. Go on walking tours to see entire districts to become sustainable. And see that we can imagine the seasons differently and work with the changing weather. So wherever you are in the world, however challenging you find climate action, please go away and think, what are the stories of hope in your place? And then share them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jeremy, and also a special thanks for that you also gave some hope at the end. I mean, and hoped us to imagine the better ways to be. I think that even if you gave kind of harsh facts there, I think the hope is really important also for us. So thank you for that. Hey, I want to remind you all that while we have these great keynotes, you can also like ask there in the platform. Now, for example, there is a open like a chat for Jeremy's keynote. So please just write there, and if we are not interviewing Jeremy now, then we will do it later. What about you, Atlas? What was your takeaway there, or do you have some questions for Jeremy?
Always inspired to hear what Jeremy has to say. I know that you've been going through many climate action plans. Can you share maybe one step, or maybe easy one, low cost, that businesses can start and maybe have a great impact?
First step. Baby step, Jeremy.
I think the trouble is that businesses are so different. And I mean, the advice I might give a hotel versus a tour operator versus an urban destination or a rural destination could be extremely different. And therefore, I would say that connected to what I have just said here is get to understand the place where you operate best. Because you sit there thinking, how do I begin? But in your region, in your network, are people who have already begun. So take some time to find out who is working on this, who is doing that, who are they? What does it look like when I understand my region through the lens of people who are working on climate in tourism, in the municipality, in restaurants, whatever it might be. And as you understand it, connect to some of them, because the one thing that is most positive about working inside of this enormously challenging world is that people want to share. They want to talk. They want to listen. And if you reach out and say, hi, I don't know what to do and I've got a hotel and I'm here, tell me about what you're doing, people will share.
That's great. I think you mentioned also this, like the importance of storytelling, and that everyone is really sharing those things together and then learning from each other. So it is really important. Jeremy, thank you so much. And I think Maria Linde, are you ready? Because if we are having break, then you should be on the stage after that.
Absolutely, I'm ready.
Okay. Hey, but let's give our participants or audience like a few minutes break here. Let's continue in 5 minutes. So it's 3 o'clock finish.
Yeah. See you
But
soon.
5 minutes. Yeah, and Maria, just to tell you that we can see your presentation as well. So
Yeah, that was my idea.
yeah.
You want me to stop sharing?
No, no, no.
No, okay,
Just
yeah.
it's good that it's there.
Nice
Yep.
picture.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And thanks, Matti Pollari, for a comment for Jeremy. There are like on this platform on the top navigation, there's this speakers section where you can also like post your question or comment afterwards to, for example, Nicoleta. There was already someone who asked also. Oh, Karin Salander asked and Nicoleta already answered. So it works. If you are just brave enough to ask, then you will also get the answers. So it's 3 o'clock Helsinki time now, and that's why we can continue. Maria, I think you have some really like a practical things there coming up also, like it's interesting to follow this flow like from this study also to bit of concerns of Jeremy and whatever, and then Maria, you have some great stories to share with us, if I'm right.
Yes, exactly. I'm going to talk to you about a practical example of how we've been working with climate smart holidays in West Sweden. So I'm Marie Linde and I work for the DMO West Sweden Tourist Board. And just before I start my presentation, I would just like to show you this map to give you an idea of where in the world I am. The western coast of Sweden, with Gothenburg being the main city of our region. And the West Sweden Tourist Board, we're a DMO with 30 employees. We're based in Gothenburg and owned by the region Västra Götaland, so we're publicly financed 100%. And we work with both the development and marketing of tourism, but our focus is and has always been sustainable tourism. We have a strategy that we formed about 5 years ago that we call Stepping Up Sustainability. And it's based on 4 key principles. The first principle being as little unnecessary environmental impact as possible. I mean, of course, tourism leads to some environmental impact. That's you can't argue that because you have to travel somewhere. But we can make that as little unnecessary environmental impact as possible by making a few choices. The second principle is that we want tourism to be good for both residents and visitors, not only for the visitors, but we also have the perspective of the people who lives in this region. We want to attract more visitors when and where places are not full, and we want tourism to lead to more full-time jobs and more resilient businesses. So we also take the perspective of economical sustainability within this strategy. And it's not only a strategy for the West Sweden Tourist Board, but for the whole region of West Sweden. We now have 46 of our 49 municipalities who have joined this strategy. They have made a political decision that this should be the strategy that they're working with. And we also have about 800 businesses in our region that has joined this program. So on this web page that you see before you, these companies, they share their information. They tell each other about what they're doing to work with these 4 principles. And it gives us a really a strength that we are so many people joining together. 4 very simple principles to follow, but it makes such a great impact that we're all moving in the right direction. So that's sort of the background to what I'm going to tell you about here today, which is how we developed climate smart holidays in our region. Now, the climate smart holidays is that we wanted to show that it's possible to have a sustainable vacation without compromising on the experience. We wanted to show that you can book a package where you live close to nature, where you live climate smart and exclusive and comfortable at the same time, to enjoy the best of West Sweden with almost 0 carbon dioxide emission. So we've been working with really small scale family businesses where everything is as sustainable as possible, both the accommodation, the food that they're serving, and the activities that they're offering, and how you get to their locations. So what we do is that the visitors, they travel here by train, and they're picked up at the train station by an electrical car that has been charged by solar power, so that we get the emission down to, well, at least as low as possible. And we calculate the carbon offset to see that it's really sustainable. I'm going to show you how we do that in just a second. We have 5 companies now that are part of this climate smart holidays scheme that can offer these kind of package tours. So we use this calculator. It's called Travel and Climate. You can find it online on the web address that you see on the top if you want to use it, because you can use it from any destination in the world to any destination in the world. It's based on Google Maps when it comes to calculating the trip. So that's why it's possible to use for any destination. So you simply, in this little square box here, you enter how many people are going on the trip. Is it a return trip? Where are you going from? And where are you going to? And how many nights are you staying? As simple as that. And you just press calculate, and you will see all the different options on how you can get to this place. The carbon offset if you're going by plane, or if you're going by train, or if you're going by car. And also, if you're going by car, how many people are there in that car? What kind of car is it? Is it an electrical car? Is it gas fueled? Or so that you can really narrow it down to be exactly the kind of trip that you're making. So you select the nearest train or bus station to the accommodation, and as I said, in this case, the accommodation will pick you up by electric car. And we've also added the climate impact calculation per accommodation from these 5 companies. So we had researchers calculating the carbon offset from the place that we're staying. This calculator has been developed by the University of Gothenburg. So there's a whole methodology report that you can find on this website as well if you want to have a look into how we've been going about this. So it's a huge project, really, really serious. So I think this is a great asset for us when we're developing tourism, to have this calculator to see how the different options that different choices that we're making, how that impacts the environment. The companies that we've been working with, the 5 companies, is first of all, it's this company called Swedish Country Living, and you're going to be acquainted with them in just a few minutes when David is going to tell you a bit more about them and what they have to offer and how they've been working. Another company is called Dalsland Activities, where they offer a package where you stay in these glass cabins that you can see on the top row of my pictures here. We also have Ericsson Cottage that also have these glass cabins that are really popular to visit. It's a great way to get really close to nature. Lugnåsbergets Eco Hotel, which offers, you see this quaint little hotel with in the middle of Skaraborg area, really close to nature as well, a beautiful location. And in forest, we stay in these tiny houses, also in the middle of the forest. So it's 5 wonderful locations where you really, really get a sense of being close to nature. Now we've been getting a lot of publicity for our climate smart holidays. These are just a few examples from influencers who have been visiting our area, writing about these packages. We've been in Swedish television where people have been talking about these climate smart packages as well. So we're so happy about all the attention that this has attracted, not only in Sweden. Here are some examples from Norway, where journalists have been writing about it, and Germany as well. Denmark, several different articles from Denmark, and France as well. I think you're going to see a bit more about that in just a few minutes, where David will show you some examples from an influencer that's been visiting them. And last but not least, also tour operators from different countries in Europe has found this interesting and wanted to sell these packages in their countries. Here is an example from Great Britain. With a company that sells sustainable journeys, and they are selling our climate smart holidays now. So that just goes to show what a great interest there is in this kind of product, where you can stay you get this sort of luxury feeling and still so very little carbon dioxide offset. So we're going to continue with this kind of journeys, not only to attract journalists' attention, but of course also to show people that this is the way forward, that there are so many different possibilities when you want to have a really sustainable journey. If you want to follow us and read more about what we're doing, you can find some information here on our web page, westsweden.com. And maybe you want to make a reservation as well to come visit us, stay in a glass cabin.
Thank you, Maria. I was just thinking that I should try your calculator there and see that how much would it take then to come there from Helsinki and how. So it was.
Yeah,
It's really
do that.
it's really practical. I'm just like maybe it's because there is always this like a Finland and Sweden kind of a bit of nice competition there that Finnish newspapers have not yet written about this case. So
No, I'm sure they're going to in the future.
yeah, they should for sure. So, thank you so much. Hey, and please again, like any comments for Maria right there. Ako wrote there. I am wondering about the utilities in a nature close experience. Could you share more about them? Greetings from Denmark. So, is there some insights that you would like to share?
What do you mean by utilities?
Ako.
Electricity, water, and so on. So
The
basis.
Okay. Yeah. So mainly you book these cabins during the warmer part of the year, but they all have solar cells and batteries, so that you do get some heating and also hot water to take a shower and so on. So they're using solar power for that.
And you have plenty of fresh water there also in that part of Sweden, I'm sure.
Yes.
So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I don't remember, is it the Vennern or Vettern that is there, but
It's both, actually.
it's both.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of the accommodations is really close to Vättern, and the others are close to Vänern.
It's good that I still remember something from school. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
okay.
impressive. Yeah.
Okay. Hey, thank you so much, Maria, and please continue to ask and comment questions on the speakers page or then on the events page. But
Thank
then.
you.
Then we have, as Maria also referred a few times, we have David. Hopefully we can your connection is good and we can get you here. Can you hear me, David? You are muted, maybe. David? Let's check.
David is online.
David is online, but we can't hear you, David. Are you? Can you there open David's mic just to be sure? No. Okay. But hey, let's then just jump a bit if possible, and we are waiting David then back. If Annika is ready, Annika Koskenkorva, are you there?
Hello. Yes, I'm here.
You have this surprisingly you are a bit earlier on. Hey, now we got David's picture. Can we also get the?
I think I'm back.
Oh,
Yes.
great, David.
Yes,
Okay,
sorry about
Annika,
that.
I'm taking this back. But it was good that you were prepared there. So.
Okay.
But hey, David, please go forward.
Yeah, I'm going to try and share my screen. Let's have a look. I'm not having much luck with this. Let's have a look.
Atlas is also preparing to back up you if not.
Can you see anything now? No.
No, not actually. But hey, if we do it so, then that Atlas
Maybe
is.
you could, yeah.
I have a backup, so
We have a backup here.
I can
Oh,
share and
great.
you just
Good.
say that next, please. Okay.
Yeah, so now you need to be a clicker. So Atlas is a clicker, and
Okay.
you just need to tell it. So please go forward.
Yeah, I'd like to start to thank West Sweden Tourist Board and to advise other small companies like ours to work as close as you can with them, because you never know what sort of help you can get. We've had a big increase in French guests, and I thought it could be the West Sweden Tourist Board that helped us there, but after listening to Nicoletta, I was thinking maybe it could be the heat in France that changed things. If you do a click now, Atlas, we can see this short film. There's no language, apparently, but this is a French influencer that helped us to be well known in France. Okay, next slide. This is a short presentation, and a part of it is about our journey into tourism, because we haven't really a tourism background. We come from a different background, but you can take the next slide now. This is our past background working in fashion, which we did for at least 20 years. But after a while, we realized that life was more than just fashion. Next slide, please. And the next slide, please. The journey started with the summer house we bought in Dalsland. Next slide, please. And you can click as well there. We're in the west region of Sweden, on the edge of Europe's largest lake, Vänern. Just to give you an idea, we're surrounded by water. This led to an understanding of how nature works, and we sold our business and moved out into a summer house, realizing that nature was so important. Next slide, please. What happened was we opened up the landscape, we bought animals, and the summer house became a farm. We have 100 sheep. We've learned that we have to connect to nature, and by using grazing animals differently, you can be more a part of nature. This is when we realized that we wanted to get this feeling, to share this feeling with other people, and try and create something luxurious in nature. This is what we did, because the real luxury is having time for each other. Next slide, please. This is a short film about the cabins, which was made by the West Sweden Tourist Board. Each cabin is off-grid, which means it doesn't have electricity, but it's got warmth, lighting. We try to make them as luxurious as possible. Each cabin has a private bathroom with the water coming from the lake. We're lucky to be close to the water. Okay. Next slide, please. And how do we work sustainably? We built the cabins with reused doors and windows. The insulation is made from sheep's wool, which doesn't burn. We have hemp in the flooring, which the mice don't like. We have different designs on the cabins. They're all built by us in the forest. They're not mass produced. And we use a circular water system, taking water from the lake for the showers, which are cleaned through the orangerie before returning to nature again. We have separating toilets, which means we can use the urine to fertilize the fruit trees, and the rest becomes earth. And we work regeneratively in nature with our grazing animals to increase biodiversity, and also to be more resilient for the different weather conditions that are coming, as we heard from Nicoletta. We have zero food waste because the excess food is given to the animals that we have on the farm. And also we do a little tour with our guests to explain how and why we work with sustainability. Okay, next slide. I think you can probably continue until the text disappears. Great. Yeah, this is a circular water house built with old doors and old windows. This is the first cabin we built. It has wild strawberries on the roof. This is the second cabin that was built in 2022. A little bit modern Scandinavian design. And this is the slate house cabin, the third cabin we have, which Marie explained about earlier. You can click on this one to watch the building of the A-frame. Everything was built by us out in the forest with no roads, no machines. It was all built by hand. If you click on that, you can see the picture moving, hopefully. There you go. We've learned quite a lot. Obviously, it takes much longer time to build things when you're not a builder. The whole planning permission is a long process, and you have to take what you have and use it and try and create something different. The best thing is if you can find a circular solution. Another thing is we've learned that you don't have to talk about sustainability. You have to show people that you're working with it and show them the benefits of it. Also, we've discovered that nature is a place where there's no waste. Have you thought about that? There's no waste in nature. And think about what benefits you can give the guests. Next slide, please. These are a few words that I thought it could be good to understand. Sustainability means you keep things on the same level. Next. Regenerative means you're giving back more. By opening up the landscape with grazing animals, working regeneratively, we found that we've got an increase of birds, red listed plants. Everything is a lot more. We're getting more than what we're taking. Next, please. Circular way of thinking. Can you find a circular solution to the way you do business? Just as by copying nature. Next. Biomimicry is a word which means that you copy the solutions that nature has, the way that we filter water coming from the lake by using earth and sand and things like that, to have a circular water system working. There's maybe different other ideas you can take from following biomimicry, how nature is working. Next slide. Agritourism is a way of connecting the way things are grown to tourism, so that you can get a connection with, see where your food is coming from. Okay, what are the downsides? The next slide will give you. A new report by Sea Space has found that some things can be misused, and there's a lot of greenwashing going on as well. So a report that they made recently discovered that only 12% of the people that they asked trusted sustainable brands, and 65% believe that they would be in charge more for sustainability. So the idea here was that you should, instead of marketing just sustainability, you should show what benefits there are for customers and the guests. Next, please. We've discovered lots of benefits for our customers. Guests being in nature makes you feel good. You've got more time for each other. It's a private experience. We produce our own food, and obviously it tastes better when it's fresh. You're free to wander and explore. We have more time to talk to our guests, and we've got lots of different packages to help find different types of guests with different demands. Next. Yeah, so what's in it for us? We find that sustainability has strengthened our brand. We try to help guests understand that they can do something. We can charge a little bit more for a more unique experience. We feel good about doing something. We've got fantastic reviews on Google with 5 stars from almost all of the guests that we've had. It's good for business, it's good for the local community, and it's good for the environment. Okay, next slide. That was more or less, I think, what I have. Do I have time left?
Yes, you have a little bit, yeah.
Okay, good. And you can continue clicking. I asked ChatGPT what the future of tourism was. And these are the answers I got. You can sort of, it's going to be slower, greener, and more meaningful. Next slide. Depth over distance, authenticity over luxury, and connection over consumption. Choosing experience that will regenerate nature, empower communities, and leave a positive footprint. And that was my presentation.
Thank you, David.
Sorry about the disruptions.
Can I ask it? How long have you been there, like building this place?
It was a very long process with the building permission. We had the first cabin was ready 2020, and the second 2 cabins, so the 3 cabins were ready 2022. So we're fairly still on the starting blocks, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course there was this also the pandemic during that time and so on. So
yes, that's when all the people from the cities came to live in the countryside.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was surprising because it also made the business to boom in some places, not maybe in the city centers in the hotels, but in many other places.
So, yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
and I'd like to also thank Jeremy for the things he took up in the discussion there, because we've noticed that a lot of our guests actually say that they feel a very closeness to what we're doing and how we're living, and it's like a dream for a lot of our guests. So I think this connection and helping people to understand it, I think you can do a lot more than what you think, really, as a business.
Yeah, for sure. Really nice examples, and I'm getting curious of these places that you have there. So
okay, yeah.
They look lovely. They look lovely. Hey, thank you, David. And then we will move to Annika, who was already ready there before, and I hope that she still is there. And Annika plays a huge part in this projects, and now the floor is yours, Annika. And we can see your presentation.
Yes, perfect. Thank you so much. And yeah, so hello everyone. My name is Annika Koskenkorva, and I work as a project manager in the Climate Neutral Destinations project at Visit Tampere. And I'm here today on behalf of our whole project, delivering the insights of our project key actions. And first of all, I would like to thank all today's speakers for your important and inspiring presentations in the context of climate change. And those presentations highlighted greatly the importance of climate action. And now my purpose is to share how our international Cleanest project is helping tourism businesses and regions in practical ways to respond to these challenges. And before going to my main agenda, I think it would be good to offer you a wider perspective about where all started. And therefore, I would like to provide some background information on why we applied for this project, why it is important to us, and what we aim to achieve with it. So now a little bit our implemented climate work in Tampere. So city of Tampere and Tampere region aim to be carbon neutral by 2030. And as mentioned, I work at Visit Tampere, which is a destination management organization. And as a tourism sector representatives, we want to be a forerunners on this development. So we have set a goal, a very ambitious goal, that Tampere region is a carbon neutral tourism destination by the year 2030. And by achieving this, we need continuity for our already close cooperation with the city and all other stakeholders. And Visit Tampere has also done a lot of sustainability and climate work. For example, this spring, we got Sustainable Travel Finland destination label, which is a symbol of commitment towards sustainable practices and principles. And we have signed the Glasgow Declaration and created Climate Action Plan. And we have launched the Urban Climate Leaders Network together with City of Helsinki, which is a collaboration network of cities and tourism industry leaders. And this UCL network is working with common goal to accelerating the transition towards climate neutral traveling. So this close cooperation with the City of Helsinki inspired the idea for the whole Cleanest project, along with the ambition to advance our work also at the wider level. And with the support of Helsinki, we were able to bring together a truly committed and motivated partnership with which we will move forward in developing climate action together in the following years. So speaking about the partnership, the Climate Neutral Destination project brings together a total of 10 project partners from 8 tourism destinations around the Baltic Sea area, who all are sharing the same ambitious goal of supporting destinations and businesses in developing climate-smart tourism. And our partners are from Finland, Sweden, Poland, Lithuania, Norway, Denmark, and Tallinn. And our project started 6 months ago, and the whole duration is 3 years. And it gets its funding from the Interreg Baltic Sea Region program. Then I would like to open up to you a little bit our main project objectives. So there are transition towards climate neutral tourism business, and how we are trying to achieve this is by utilizing best solutions for measuring and decarbonizing, building competence and cooperation, and responding to customer demand for low carbon traveling. And our other main objective is to increase the resilience of tourism industry. And we are trying to build a joint knowledge on the effects of climate change on tourism and how to adjust to it. And our 2 main results in the project should be and will be the Climate Smart Business Toolkit. And we are developing this together with the companies, and also Baltic Sea Region Climate Neutral Destination Network, which is leading the transition also after the project, because we all know that one of the problems in the project is that when the project ends, the work ends. So we want to create this network that we ensure that there will be all our project partners, for example, committed to update this toolkit after the project, that it will stay relevant also in the future. And now I would like to present you more precisely our Climate Smart Business Toolkit, the solution that we are developing, and on what elements it includes. So there will be 4 different sections, and it will be developed during our project together with the tourism companies and DMOs. And also it will be piloted. So the first of them, Climate Smart Business Development Tools for Companies, is including CO2 calculation, and based on those calculation results, companies are able to plan and develop climate smart tourism business. So companies will have knowledge how to utilize their carbon data in their business development, and also how to meet customer expectations for low carbon options. And part 2 is focusing on how tourism companies from different sectors can jointly develop inspiring low carbon visitor experiences in their destinations. And it includes also test marketing of these created experiences. And this test marketing will be coordinated by tourism DMOs. So the companies will have skills to develop and market their low carbon tourism experiences together with other companies. And at the same time, the companies will be improving their climate resilience. So in short words, we are trying to create something similar on this section than was earlier presented, the Climate Smart Holidays concept by West Sweden. So it would be great if in the end of the project we would have, for example, climate-friendly holidays in Tampere, climate-friendly holidays in Kaunas, Aarhus, and so on. And third part is targeted for DMOs. There we are developing on a destination level carbon data management in cooperation with DMOs, public authorities, and also with the companies. And this provides the guidelines to integrate the climate smart tourism development more in strategic planning on a city level. So we hope that the companies who join in the first phase to calculate their CO2, they would share their data to the tourism DMOs, that they are able to make a better strategic planning also in the city level, that we want to help also the bigger picture. And lastly, we are going to have a training program for utilizing toolkit in destination level climate work, because as told, we have 8 tourism DMOs as a partners in this project. And in these destinations, these cities, we are going to pilot these activities together with the tourism companies. But we want that when this project is ready, the toolkit could be used, like all the other cities too could be would be able to use this toolkit. So we want to offer the guidelines for the other DMOs, that they can know how they can guide their areas, tourism companies, to utilize this toolkit and its contents. And here I want to address even more clearer climate action path for the tourism companies about what our project offers for the companies, like what is the path for the tourism companies. So in short words, first, tourism company can understand their emissions and where they are coming from, and companies can calculate their carbon footprint by using a free tool that is provided by our project, and also have expert support for that, so you don't need to think about these things alone. And after that, the companies can start to reduce their emissions by identifying and implementing meaningful climate smart improvements in their daily business by doing climate smart business development based on the CO2 data that they now have. And after that, the companies can start to engaging the customers by doing service development and also the marketing. And this will be done in co-creation sessions with other tourism companies and DMOs to develop new low carbon visitor experiences, and also to test their marketing and ensure that the marketing is aligned with EU regulations. So as mentioned, we are developing this toolkit together with the companies. So if you are from our project area, let us know about your interest, since we are piloting these sections next year, starting from spring 2026 with CO2 calculation and climate smart business development, to autumn 2026, where we will continue with developing low carbon tourism experiences. And then lastly, I would like to point out, because I know that this is something that especially interests always with the companies, that why should I join the project and what is the value that our project can bring to my company. So first of all, you will have carbon footprint calculation skills and knowledge to utilize these results as a part of your business development. You will better meet the growing customer demand and have better communication skills on low carbon options as well. And you will have skills to develop and market low carbon tourism experiences and engage the customers without a fear of greenwashing. And at the same time, you will be improving the climate resilience of your business, and that might also create new business opportunities. And as we know and heard today, the climate change adaptation is currently a major and important topic, and our aim is to offer better understanding and skills for adaptation. And our project will offer clear tools and expert support. So there's no need to figure out everything alone. You will get a practical solutions from our project. And then, of course, the marketing and visibility point, since the participating companies can gain extra visibility through the project. And the work will be implemented together with other companies. So naturally, you will have networking opportunities. So by joining the project, company gains new networks, also transnationally. And last, but definitely not least, the main point why climate work is important. And what we have heard also here today many times, the genuine care for the nature, the future generations, ensuring long-term success, and also the future traveling. The purpose and motivation, the last part. since climate action brings meaning to everyday work, strengthens the international motivation, and ensures the long-term future of tourism. So by joining, companies and also individuals can contribute to the joint global climate effort, which is really important. So thank you so much for your attention. I hope I was able to present you clearly enough how our project aims to ease climate work towards climate change effects. But if you have some questions, you can contact me via email, and I'm very happy to provide you more information. And you can also find our Housebase platform, all the our partners, contact persons information. So if you are willing to join our project, there you can find their contact informations. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Annika. I think that the power there is like this shared purpose and also doing these things together. I think that there is no such a thing as a competition when it comes to the climate and to this area and the smart tourism there. I think that it's just everyone's benefit that you are like doing this important mission together. So thanks for the call, I would say, on behalf of the rest of the participants. And as you mentioned, there is this contacts page in the top navigation in a platform, and please just like whoever you wish to contact from there, do so. Hey, Annika and Atlas and the team have made a huge effort already for this program, and I think that it's like now your turn also to return a bit of this, and that happens by now navigating to the feedbacks section there on the top navigation in the platform. It's crucial. It's really important now that if you just spend now before we go to the last words here, you just inform if you are interested in hearing more, meeting again, or whatever. Then of course it's good to ask also that if you were happy for what you got today and how it should be developed, and then also some open feedback. So I think that in order this to develop further, it's like everyone is needed and all the feedback is really important. So just please now, before we are moving on, give a few words there to the to as a feedback for the program organizers. Otherwise, you will never do it like later or whatever. I know. Yeah. Atlas, how about the materials? Where are they shared?
Probably we will use this platform also after this webinar. So we will have the recording and we will make summary, which I think will be much more useful than just PDF.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's easy to read, maybe one page per presentation, and you will get the best insights from those. And we will share it to also to our project page.
Yeah, it looks like people would like to meet again. At least it comes there, and hearing more about the events and so on. So I think that it's important, and you have promised also then to contact these people at some point.
Yeah,
I think there's huge mission that you have there, and it seems to be congratulations. Hey, it seems to be that people are happy for what they got. At least I'm not from any of these industries as such, but the content was extremely interesting and it was opening my eyes a bit there, and I hope that it was also that for the experts that you I assume that you all others are. So time was okay. 2 hours is not too long, and there are like important content, at least it shows so. But please click few comments there, and you can continue. So. There was not so many questions for the speakers yet.
No.
But that's not. It's maybe the speakers were so clear and giving such a great presentations that there was no need for that. But hey, what is happening then next? What are your plans now, Annika, Atlas? Like, will you somehow build this community or movement or program together with everyone? Or
Yes, we will. At least we will build it locally here in different partner destinations. But of course, why not to meet again, share learnings with each other, not internationally and so on. I'm really looking forward to it, and now we want to engage the businesses with us. Yes.
yeah, I think that in this like a group of participants, they were like bringing them together and sharing things and learning together and like developing things together. I think that you have a huge opportunity there. Annika, can you still talk even if you have a flu?
Yes.
What-
Now you exposed it to everyone.
hey. No, because no one recognized it from your voice. It was just clear and loud and so on. So now I can tell it. And because you're at
Yes.
home, you're in isolation, so it's then fine. Well, do you have something to add there, what Atlas said?
Just all in all, I really want to thank everyone. All the presentations that were delivered were very interesting and important and offered like a great insight for our important topic. And I'm not sure, did you, Atlas, already mentioned, but we have Climate Neutral Destination Network LinkedIn account. So if you start to follow that, you will keep updated what are our projects becoming activities and also our project web page. Both of those are one is able to find them on our Housebase page. So you can seek that, and also if you are in our project area, tourism company interested to be involved in the project, now is the right time to seek on the website the contact information for your country representative and give a call or email and let us know if you are interested, because the change is made together.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there is like I need to repeat this because it's always you need to navigate to the right place. So there's this contact page, and there you can find this LinkedIn button and join it. Then you will get more information all the time. You will be updated. So that's nice. And there are also some. Then we need to check the meeting, check that there are some nice comments or maybe ideas. Hey. We are not running out of time, which is always great because you can end a bit early, but never too late these sessions. But what we agreed was also that we will have kind of not so formal meet and greet where you all can join. Many of our speakers are there. You will stay here. We will browse through a bit of these questions. What you have there, you can then raise questions also. I hope that everyone who will stay here then puts maybe the camera on if you are not in a really terrible situation in the woods or whatever. So we could have like a nice chat there if there are some comments. Anything to add, Atlas?
Well, I hope who is leaving this webinar now, I hope you had some inspiration for climate action and know how to participate in the future and I wish you have a good rest of the day.
Yes. You will meet Atlas and Annika again if you are joining this. So just right. So for those who are in hurry or who don't want to have a chat and so then it's thank you so much and goodbye. And those who want to join us, then please stay here and maybe put your camera on to have a bit of discussions, maybe some nice insights still from the speakers. Thank you.